I'm Brent Leary.
Paul Greenberg.
Actually, I am wearing a new Rams shirt. There's a great
Nice.
sale right now on all the great Rams logos before whatever they put out there, a couple of months ago. So I've been picking up all the good discounts on the what I like to say the real Rams stuff, the real Rams logos.
Otherwise known as the old stuff.
Hey, the old stuff is usually the good stuff, particularly when you can get it for 60% off. So
60%. God, I'll become a Rams fan just to get the bargain.
Oh, by the way, we are the CRM Playaz. I kind of got excited about the new gear.
That too. We're not giving 60% off.
No, but where's Bob Fagel? I just want to, there you go, Bob. There it is. All right. Anyway, sheltering in place for week 10,001, something like that.
Yeah, give or take 4,005.
2001, kind of a space odyssey, but anyway, right. So we got another really cool hour, or usually for us it goes over an hour this week. We've got one of our, what did you call her, one of the original
four horse people.
Yes, we won't even say who she is until we bring her on, but she's here and she's waiting in our green room. Do we have anything actually in the green room for,
last I know, there was I think they were 3-week-old donuts.
Now they're 4 weeks.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll introduce our buddy in a minute. But we're also going to be talking a little bit about some of the conferences. I mean, there's like virtual conferences pretty much every day, it feels like now.
Well, they're kind of deliberately drawing them out now, which is kind of the idea for some of them. So there's going to be, I think, if I'm correct, Salesforce alone had Analyst Summit. Yep. Then there was something the day.
Well, they did some one-on-one things yesterday for folks.
Yeah,
some folks.
And
then right now, there is Trailhead. I always get the pronunciation of this wrong because I don't know. When I see TrailHeadX, is it Trailhead X? It's not Trailhead DX.
So no,
but that's how it's pronounced.
Right. It would be like Trailhead DX.
Yeah.
Trailhead
so
DX.
Anyway, whatever you want to call it.
But in July, there's also I actually registered for this. There's a conference on it's like a government conference, for Salesforce too.
Oh, like public sector stuff.
Yeah, well, they call it government something or another. I forget the name now, but
government TX.
Yeah. God, if they do that, I'm going to unregister.
Well, actually, Trailhead X is going on right now, and you don't know it, but I'm actually looking at it. So I'm doing a show within a show, apparently. But no. So, yeah, we're going to talk about some of the stuff that happened this week. And, of course, the Watch List Winner segment this week is with
Freshworks. And notice.
Oh, Alan did send you the
He got
t-shirt,
me the t-shirt. He got me the t-shirt in time, and here it is. I promised him that if he could get me a t-shirt in time, I would wear it, and I'm wearing it.
You are
large. I told him large or extra large. I'll just put it this way. I should have said extra large. But here it is. Freshworks in all its glory.
Did Oracle start this trend? Because you did wear the Oracle t-shirt last week.
Yeah, no, not really. I mean, what I've been doing is if I have the t-shirt of the watch list winner, I wear it. I just go to my collection of 1 trillion t-shirts and I pick the one from that winner and wear it. Like when the SAP did it, I had Be Bold. That was from them, right? It was a Be Bold t-shirt. And so I just started doing it, and Alan just kind of volunteered, right? So I'm all in. Anyone who wants to send me, I think next week's Episerver, and
I know it is.
Okay.
You know how I know it is?
No.
Because Amberly from Episerver contacted me wanting to know when we will be posting the information for next week. So yes,
that will be next week.
That'll be coming next week.
Right. So probably within 2 hours of the show. So, the thing is that if Episerver sends me an Episerver t-shirt, I'll wear it. I don't have one, but if they send it to me, I'll wear it. I'm happy to wear these shirts. I like them.
I always like free stuff. So,
and this one's kind of nice. It's like a little bit elegant. It's got that nice little, I'm kind of looking at, here we go. I have to literally look at myself to know what side where my finger goes, right? That nice little colorful logo, and then the Freshworks and a nice clean font. I mean, nice shirt. Just
it's a nice shirt. I'm still wearing the that thing from NetSuite that's like a decade. We got it 10 years ago.
Yeah,
I like that, man. That thing is good. If you give us some good swag, we will definitely wear it to death. Yeah. So
anyone who sends swag to us, we will wear it on the show, even if it's not your show. We'll wear it on the show.
Right.
Right. It doesn't matter. We'll still wear it.
If you're doing a watch list winner for, I don't know, your biggest competitor, don't be surprised if the shirt shows up there.
Well, you don't send me one. I have to wear something.
All right. So joining us for the segment, as you can see, Alan is very thankful that you're wearing the t-shirt, and I got to let the woohoo get in there too. So you see the woohoo. But representing Freshworks, I want to make sure I say his name right. Patty Rathanam. I don't know. I might have butchered that. But anyway, he is the CEO of the company that they acquired, Answer IQ. So now he's their chief customer officer. Yeah.
Didn't it occur to you there's a lot of companies that the last 2 letters of their name is IQ?
Well,
Action
it's pretty
IQ,
smart. It's pretty
Rival
smart.
IQ, Spark IQ, Answer IQ. It sounds like this sneezing.
It's probably better to have it in like that than like Rival AF.
Anything with ending in AF has a real problem.
That's probably not the best way to use your corporate branding or narrative, Alan.
Right.
As you like to say.
Or WTF.
I find that one that would be a good WTF extension. .WTF. Why hasn't GoDaddy or somebody done that yet? That would be great.
Oh God. That's actually a great idea. And it could be it would be just like your language would not be hey Sven, your language would not be how would I put it? You won't be censored for what you say on the show or on any show on WTF on the WTF stream.
Yeah, I guess all there's no holds barred on a WTF.
Right. But it's not an adult station. Okay. It's just
that might be
barred on the language you use.
That may be some issues with that. But anyway, so that will be coming up at the usual time. I'm looking forward to that. So we'll see.
Me too.
Okay, so you want to bring our buddy on now?
Yeah.
Let's bring on there you go. Keep shaking your head, Alan. Because we're getting ready to bring on somebody who's used to shaking their head too when they watch your team, the Mets. It's Ginger Conlon, our buddy.
Yes, and for an original.
Hey, Brent and Paul, thanks for inviting me to join you today.
Well, that's like a given. You just have to tell us you want to come on any day, and you're going to be on. So,
you're. And I didn't even have to send you T-shirts.
No,
no, there it is.
Well, there's one T-shirt you send us, you won't be on the show.
Yeah, we won't be wearing no Mets T-shirts on the show. Exactly right. Sorry. But any day you want to be on, you're on. Even if we're not doing a show,
just let us know. You can have your own version.
All right. Hey, Alan.
So here's the thing. I mean, you're an original horse person, right? When the first.
This sounds funny. I'm sorry.
Esteban's like the newcomer, actually. So you're really you're still really, it's still the 5 horse people.
You can just call it horsemen. It's just easier.
It's all right. We'll call it
horse people just sounds weird.
I actually, of course,
Horse whisperer.
That's exactly why I keep doing it, right? Because it does sound completely weird. We could call ourselves the 5 equestrians, right?
Yeah, that just doesn't sound the
5
same.
equestrians doesn't have the doom and gloom kind of death metal mode. But
we gotta represent the doom and gloom because Esteban is still with us. So
that's right. Well, he's digital pestilence.
There it is.
That's pretty funny.
He's been assigned digital pestilence as his permanent status. But you have permanent status too, So it's really the 5 of us. It's just, we'll have to get together over lunch someday.
A happy hour, maybe.
Yeah. Actually, happy hour.
I just need to make a couple of comments on your initial discussion. First of all, I think we've been sheltering in place for probably 666 days, is it?
Oh, wow.
She's good.
Wow, that's really good.
Coming
right at you.
Yeah, that was.
The Salesforce conference name kind of reminds me of DirecTV, right? It's Direct TV.
Direct.
They went on that path.
Yeah, now see, now you don't make me.
But now AT&T is AT&T TV now. Like, how many T's is that?
Really?
Yeah.
Is that what they call it? AT&T TV now? Oh my God.
Well,
these guys never, it's amazing. It's like none of these companies ever learn, ever. No matter what. I mean, any ordinary human, including the people, probably 99.8% of the people who work at those companies are going to hear that and go, WTF, right? Pretty much, what? Right? They're going to go, what? What the hell? Right? And yet, it's the 0.2 who are just blithely going along creating things that look ridiculous all the time. It just amazes me. It's just a constant, it's like a constant source of amazement for me. And humor.
Yeah. Oh, and going along with the IQ theme and names, remember back in the day of everything that was blue martini days?
Oh God, yeah. Oh, that's
right.
Blue Kai, Blue Martini,
Blue Jeans, Paul's favorite streaming.
Oh God, that is such a piece of crap. And my telephone company, Brent corrected me on that one. My telephone company paid $4 billion, which means probably my bill's going to go up thanks to them paying $4 billion for that horrible.
It's a lot of money.
Horrible.
Tell us how you really feel, Paul.
Streaming.
Yeah. Don't hold back now.
I don't even want to call it a streaming platform. It's just like a streaming thing. That's it. Streaming thing. It isn't worthy of being called a platform. It's so bad. Wow.
All right.
Anyway.
Well, let's talk about some of the stuff that went on this week, I guess. We sat in on the analyst summit. That was Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
All right. So first of all, let me just say, I think they really need to get a new MC. The MC was terrible.
You're being so mean. Oh, you are so mean. And she's going to actually believe you.
I'm just kidding.
Of course you are.
Actually, their MC was great. He had great training, great experience heading right into being the MC of it. That's because the MC was a former player in residence, Brian Solis.
And, look,
I think we get credit for his doing a good job.
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, if we don't get it, we'll take it. So it doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
Either way works. Right.
That's
so Brian's always good. In fact, honestly, he's so good at that stuff that he was actually.
How good is he? Oh,
he's so good. No, he was actually underutilized. Right. He could have been doing 100 other things and done them all great. And down the road, I'm sure they'll use him more. But Brian handled himself the usual way, which is pretty much perfectly. Guy has an astonishing presence. He really does.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, one thing that we both picked up on during this presentation, because it kind of goes back to last week. Remember, last week we were talking about Adobe, and I gave you guys a quiz, you and El Nicole at the time, and I think it was $826 million in quarterly revenue that the Experience Cloud had made this last quarter. So that number came to mind because during the presentation, this slide popped up,
which is also publicly available on Seeking Alpha.
Absolutely, we wanted to make sure of that because we did
check with Salesforce.
That's right, because I do have a past history of. Well, anyway,
let's put it this way: Brent is pretty much the man responsible for all their future revenue numbers.
Don't ever ask me about the book of Salesforce again. That's all I'm saying.
That's right, and we're not going to explain it any further. That's all.
No. No. All right. So what got our attention? Because we were on our own little back channel and we saw this slide come up. We're not surprised at all that Sales Cloud and Service Cloud, and those are big, and the platform is big. The one that got us was Marketing Cloud, because they have you can see there the combination of Marketing Cloud and Commerce Cloud, those fourth set of pillars there. $700 million, roughly. I guess that's what 0.7B is, 700 million. And that jumped out to us because Adobe actually made a significant amount more. If you think of their Experience Cloud, which is basically, that's everything they do, but outside of, Creative Cloud and Document Cloud, it's their B2B kind of digital marketing cloud plus commerce with Magento. 826 million for that, and Marketing Cloud and Commerce Cloud 700 million. How much of a surprise was that? And I'm going to ask both of you because Ginger is marketing person too. So,
well, from my standpoint, it was actually, I thought, and this is more anecdotally thought, that they were over $1 billion, right, on the Marketing Cloud to begin with, and that when Bob was there, Bob pretty much took what was a seriously bad laggard and built it back into something, market worthy. And so that was number one. I was shocked at I'll call it the lowness of the number. And the other one, the other facet that surprised me, and then there was a third thing that I found interesting too, was that even though it's not broken down here, the Commerce Cloud was only 0.1 billion of that, meaning $100 million for the Commerce Cloud, which to me is an absolute problem for Salesforce. I mean, if after all this time with Demandware and Cloud Craze and the acquisitions and the integration of the two, that it's only generating $100 million worth of revenue, and I'm presuming that's an accurate number anyway, and that is shocking and actually needs to be fixed at this point for them.
I think this next set of quarters, I think it's going to be really interesting, because I'm guessing, with COVID, a lot of stuff that people used to go to the store and get, they had to immediately switch over and start getting it online. So that means, and that means really B2C focused commerce, huge shift in B2C focused commerce, which should mean that they should get a lift. But I'm thinking that Magento probably will see a more significant lift from that big change than Salesforce's Marketing Cloud will get.
Well, I do know Adobe's spending a lot of time scaling Magento. They're taking it from the mid-market up to the enterprise, and that they're investing quite a bit of time, money, and effort and headcount into that, and which is a wise move for them. I mean, if you take that in combination with their alliance with ServiceNow and
they got
and the alliance
Microsoft too,
and you take all of that combined, I mean, they're going to compete. Potentially, they're going to compete in the general market on the whole CRM-ish, agenda. I will tell you one last thing before I be quiet and let go to Ginger. Is there is one other thing that's kind of glaring here, which is glaringly good though. Look, if you go all the way back to 2003, Salesforce basically put their eyes on the one prize that they cared about, which is they wanted to be a platform, and that was it. I remember I met with Teen Sue. I was in Shanghai, literally, and we were sitting and talking over breakfast, and we were coincidentally both there at the same time, and we were talking over breakfast, and I wanted to interview him for the book, CRM Playaz. I said, so what's Salesforce's long-term objective? He said, well, CRM is really a means to an end. He said, what we really want to be is the network upon which all business applications are run, meaning a platform. And they have never, ever for 1 second, as you've heard me say many times, lost focus on that. Now look at these revenue numbers. The fastest growing and the largest number in Q1 of this year, or actually, is that Q1 of 2021 for them?
Fiscal year 21.
Right, for their fiscal year 2021 is the largest segment of all their subscription and support revenue, and that is a huge achievement.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't recall them pointing that out. They pointed out Service Cloud overtaking Sales Cloud for the first time, but I don't remember them saying that platform took over everything. And like you said, with the year-over-year growth, man, it's up with a bullet.
Yeah, to me, that is, with all the weaknesses of Marketing and Commerce Cloud at the moment, that is a huge plus for Salesforce, and only for portends good, because again, they've never really focused on anything else with all the other things you've heard. That's what they've always had their eyes straight on with.
All right, we've done enough talking.
All right,
All
Miss Conlon, let me get Sven out of the way because I can't even see you with that.
Here I am back. Well, so first of all, when I think of CRM, one of the challenges with trying to compare companies is it's not even that it's apples to apples. They're all apples, but you've got your Red Delicious, your Golden Delicious, right? So, and the way the companies then go to market as a result of that differs. So I'm not as surprised about the numbers, because if you think about the way that Adobe goes to market, and yes, the note that was just sent up with about the 800-pound gorilla, they have their chief marketing officer content. They've got, I remember back in the day when they were first kind of launching into the marketing side, and one of the execs over there said that they wanted to have more marketing related content than the publications out there that were serving the marketing world. And it was really telling to me about where their goals were. Paul, like you were just saying about Salesforce and what their goals are and the platform focus. So it's not that, Salesforce isn't focusing enough on the marketing cloud. It's just the difference between the two companies and the way, yes, Alan, CRM is like produce. So, those two companies go to market in a different way. So that's, I feel like what's behind those results in part.
Yeah. And also they report, the fiscal years are not exact with the two. Salesforce is in Q1 of 2021, and I don't think Adobe is. So,
yeah,
it's certainly that. I look, Adobe's always been formidable there, and I think we know that. And the interesting thing to me, though, for me, the whole thing is the platform revenue from Salesforce, is because that's literally the achievement that they're, even though it's funny, they've de-emphasized that over the years, other than to make it just sort of part of their overall them, as opposed to saying, hey, when back then in 2003 and later, it was a focus. It was like it stood out from other things they're doing. Now it's just part of the narrative, which is, to be honest, it's appropriate, but it also loses a little bit of luster in the bargain as a result. But is the way they have to do it. But those results are incredibly significant to me, and the incredible growth of the platform is just off the charts.
But the thing is, though, Salesforce is at about a 20 billion annual run rate.
Yeah,
that's pretty amazing when you think about, Adobe. Their biggest revenue maker is the Creative Cloud. It's not even part of the Experience Cloud by a long shot. And I think Document Cloud only comes in at 126 million for quarterly revenue. So where Adobe is still feasting off of, creativity tools, Salesforce is, all in on the whole customer engagement, CRM, whatever you want to call it, to the point of 20 billion. So, I mean, that's whatever we may be seeing. Yeah, they may be a little light in this one area, but overall, they're killing.
Makes me think of Coke and Pepsi. Maybe not as much now as back like 10 years ago. It's hard. You either had to look at those two beverages, or when you're looking at the two whole companies, it was hard to really compare them of who was the biggest because they do different things, right? Pepsi had Frito and all of those products, and Coca-Cola had Dasani and whatever. So you almost have to look at kind of like the elements.
I will point this out. Pepsi is to Atlanta as the Mets are to Atlanta. So you don't want to be talking about that here. Okay. By the way, LinkedIn user today is Thomas.
Oh, okay.
Thomas, you need to talk with Sven because Sven got his worked out. It must be some kind of a German thing because, that was the same thing that was happening with Sven. Sven got it all straightened out. So you better talk to the Sven to see how you can actually show up and not be just an anonymous LinkedIn user here. So, let's see. Speaking of which,
that's not the point, really. It's not how profitable Salesforce is. It's the fact that the revenue is shifting to the platform. That's the actual point, right? And and that's kind of the.
No, Alan, it's not. No.
We'll have Alan on our next comedy hour.
Oh, okay. Oh, look, so Jason he's giving some firsthand experience here. And it doesn't sound like it's very good.
Well, it's Salesforce's cash cow. I mean, the thing with, thank you, Sven. Thank you. The thing is that ultimately, I mean, the biggest problem we're going to always have with those things is any of these discussions on how good or bad any of these are is it literally depends on the person telling you, right? So, it's why it's hard to concentrate sometimes with this.
I know
he's going on. It's why you're going to get these disparate ideas. We rely on a certain amount anecdotally, and you look at G2 stuff, which is limited in what it offers, but it does offer something. And you get an idea of, let's say, overarching view of lots of users, and that's helpful. But it's why you don't recommend a company off the top of your head to a client, right? You got to figure out what they need and what's going to serve them best. And as often as not, as well as I do, a lot of these companies just choose wrong. Just choose the wrong thing. I mean, sugar is going to be great for some companies, Pipedrive for others, Salesforce for others. I mean,
right.
Salesforce is just smart enough to be the best marketers on the planet. Right about it. That's all.
And they shape the direction of the industry too. I mean,
yeah,
exactly. And that you got to take that into consideration too. All right, I want to get to the Apple Worldwide Developer Conference. And I have a little clip that I want to play out of that whole 2 hours or whatever it was. There's about 2 minutes that I really got a lot out of, and I'm going to play it right here. Then we can talk about it on the other side. Going to attempt to play it. This is new technology, folks. Give me a break. All right, here we go. Let's see. Got to do this.
Another way Siri helps is with communication, like sending messages. This year, you can now ask Siri to send an audio message, and Siri will start recording. This is great when you really want to have the emotion of your voice come through. Another popular way to send messages with your voice is using dictation. Keyboard dictation uses the same speech recognition as Siri. And leveraging the power of the neural engine, we are now able to run dictation on device. This provides great accuracy and privacy. When communicating with someone in another language, Siri can help with translations. This year, we're expanding to support many new language pairs. This is hugely popular, But we know our users want more than just translating phrases. They want to have entire conversations. And we believe conversations between languages should feel natural and easy and have the ability to stay private. That's why we're introducing a new app called Translate. It is designed to be the best and easiest to use app for conversations, and it can work completely offline, keeping your conversations private. Using advanced on-device machine learning and the powerful neural engine, you can translate your text and voice between any combination of these 11 languages. So I could have a conversation with someone in Mandarin, and they could have a conversation with someone in Russian. Just tap on the microphone and say, "What are your store hours?"
¿Cuáles son las horas de su tienda?
You get back the text and audio right away. And just turn the phone to landscape to open conversation mode. We've designed a side-by-side view that's easy for two people to know which side to follow in the conversation. This mode is incredibly intuitive, with just a single microphone button because the app intelligently detects the language spoken and shows translation on the correct side of the screen. Translate will make communicating between languages easier than ever before, connecting people in new ways, and we can't wait for you to try it.
All right, let me bring everybody back. Yeah, that was the best part of that thing for me, to be quite honest. I've been waiting for Siri to actually get smart and do these things. And for a while there, it felt like, Amazon and Google had passed her by a little bit. But this to me is where Siri could really shine and get the attention and get. I think they were. I didn't play this clip, but I think they said they do 25 billion interactions a month through Siri or something like that. And this is going to amplify it tremendously. I just thought this part was really important. I thought there was some other good stuff, but for my money, this is where I see it not only going for the consumer, but this really could impact employee experience as well.
Yeah, I'm with you. I have used, I should say, I haven't used them lately, but translate apps. I have one called Translate, another one at the same company called Converse, and they're actually good. They're very good apps, and they do it in more languages than Siri, but it's not free either. I mean, if you're paying 35, 40 bucks a year for that service, and Siri doing this is finally it's okay though. Honestly, we don't have any we have no rules here, so
no, we don't have rules or corporate narratives,
right? So. Or a corporate narrative or a corporate brand either. We just don't. So the thing is that that function for Siri finally makes Siri a genuinely worthwhile, voice. And the problem I have, of course, is I'd like to see it in actual action as opposed to watching it on an Apple WWDC demo. Because Siri on prior WWDC demos look great. And we've seen where it led to 25 billion interactions, of which 24 billion 950 million of them are not very good. So
yeah, there's definitely still a lot of retyping things that Siri thought you said to what you actually said. Mm-hmm. So, but
yeah,
from being someone who follows data-driven marketing, and is the president of the Direct Marketing Club of New York, that's me. My takeaway was the iOS 14 update making app tracking an opt-in, which could shake up a lot of things because apps won't be able to track you across other places without you saying it's okay, which, from a privacy standpoint is, changes the game significantly. And from the marketer standpoint, they're thinking that's going to be harder to do personalization and attribution. Now marketers are going to have to think differently about getting that opt-in, getting the permission than they did before. And I was reading an article. There's a couple of folks in the industry thinking that, Google will follow suit in 18 to 36 months. So we'll see how that goes.
That's a long time out.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, to me, they don't have that kind of time anymore. Those were fine 15 years ago, but you don't have 36 months. You barely have six months at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like how privacy was kind of stressed throughout the whole conference, but even what you said and even what was said during the kind of the Siri piece, private conversations, and with Apple's kind of overall stance on privacy, that actually really plays to their advantage in all this stuff that they're laying out. I mean, do you trust them, or do you trust some other folks who have had some issues with privacy to pull these pieces together? That's kind of a big underlying story there for that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the other thing, as far as I'm concerned, again, this is my kind of favorite takeaway, but this is where the difference in our ages starts to show, right? It's like the sleep tracking. I think they've got pulse oximetry now in the watch, right? Though, look, ultimately that probably saved my life last November, given that's how I found out I had AFib since I'm asymptomatic. But having pulse oximetry built into the watch, I didn't actually see that announcement, but I heard that it was announced. But I did hear about sleep tracking, and they already have the EKG. Those things take, for example, the watch OS 7 and the watch itself to a whole other level. I mean, and from my standpoint, again, I found out because my iPhone showed me my heart rate was just completely going wild. And then I did the EKG 30 times on my watch, and all 30 said, hey, we detected atrial fibrillation. So I drove myself to the hospital and found out, hey, yeah, I got it. So, when you get to be 70, that's
the reaction.
That's kind of what impresses you. Well, that kind of was my reaction. I was asymptomatic. I didn't feel a thing. And I haven't had it since either, but I'm on a blood thinner for the rest of my life, which now I hear, thanks to COVID-19 clotting and killing, I'm better protected because I'm on a blood thinner, right? Yeah. So I'm taking a preemptive against COVID-19 killing me with a clot. But for that, that's what I'm saying. Wow.
Yes. And I thought that it was impressive when the Fitbit told me that I wasn't eating enough vegetables, and a little bit different impact, but
yeah. Well, my mom told me that all the time, so that's right. No big thing.
So, and she used to run with Brent. Speed it up, stand up straight. I once had this. What was it called? It was actually a fitness device that was another ear one that actually had a pretty serious AI built in. And I remember I was testing it out, and I was doing a power walk from the pier in San Francisco all the way down on the North Pier, so to the Salesforce office one morning. I was walking like 5 miles an hour as fast as I could, walking and sweaty, right? And this device at one point tells me, straighten up. It literally said, straighten up. You're slouching, walk straighter. It was amazing.
If it had said, straighten up and then fly right, that really would have been kind of interesting.
Change your life. Change your life. You're thinking bad things. Change your life. No, it's amazing that it actually figured that out.
So we need to keep on time, because it's now time for the Watch List Winner segment. There it is. He's holding it up. It's Freshworks. And why don't we say a quick hello to Patty, who is here representing Freshworks before you launch into your diatribe on Freshworks. Patty, hey, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Brent. Thanks, Paul. Nice to meet you, Ginger.
Hey, Patty.
Hey, Patty.
Yeah, hi.
All right.
So we just wanted to say a quick hello before we turn it over to Paul, and he will basically just talk about you like you weren't there for the next 10 minutes or so. So after he's done, then we'll all come back, and then we'll talk with you and ask you all sorts of questions. Particularly, think about this question: why is Alan still with Freshworks? You can answer that on the other side. So with that being said, we turn it over to Mr. Greenberg.
All right. So this was one of the more unusual wins, actually. we have had one other one like this the whole year, the 13 winners for the watch list. And again, I'm going to reiterate something before I start. The watch list this year is suspended. It's not going to happen in 2020. Well, it's the 2021 watch list, but it will happen again in 2022, which means February 2021. We'll announce the watch list for registration. What will happen is, and CRM Playaz might be involved in this. What will happen is at the end of the year, I will be throughout the rest of the year assessing companies. I'm building up the criteria now for special award. 3 of them probably is the number that will be given out for how you've responded throughout the full range of the crisis. When I say that, I'm not just talking about COVID-19. I'm talking about the social unrest. I'm talking about the whole thing. And there will be an award for the companies that are doing the best capital G good, capital W works. Okay. And there'll be 3 awards for that. You don't have to register. You don't have to fill out questionnaires. This is all going to be proactively on my part. And toward the end of the year, there'll be a group of finalists announced. I haven't decided about semifinalists, probably not. A group of finalists announced, and then the winners. Okay, so that will be the watch list for 2020. All right, 2021. So Freshworks. So Freshworks, again, was very unusual this year because, and I only had one other winner like this of the 13, which is it tended to be, there was nothing in particular that made you go, man, that's mind-blowing. But they tended to be solid in everything, right? There was 1 or 2 places where you identify some holes, but overall, if you looked at every category, and there are a significant number of them, as you know, and that they tended to be solid from A to Z. So if I'm looking at some of the more let's say the things that stood out a bit, the product was one of them, and that again, as we've talked about a million times on the show, that this is not a product assessment award. This is an impact award. But their product was fascinating because look, I think it was 3 years ago, it might have been 4 now. Freshworks was Freshdesk, and it was customer service, and it competed with companies like Zendesk and others. And then they decided to go much broader, and they began looking at the whole CRM market. So there was fresh sales, was added and so on. And they started adding they started filling out the suite. They relocated a good chunk of their business to the U.S. Within the last, I believe, year and a half, really solidly, right? They began building out what they offered. And initially it was uneven, obviously, because they'd had so many more years building out the customer service side of their offering, but become significantly more improved as the last year plus went on. And it shows in the solidity of the offering itself and the way they even market the offering, which came out strongly, right? The other thing they did wisely was that they kept focus in their market segment, right? It's very easy. Look, Freshdesk always played at the very upper end of small business into the up to the middle of the mid market, with a little bit of leap into the larger arenas, more upper mid market than enterprise. They're not right now, and this doesn't mean it involves future plans, but as of this year, they focused where they belonged. And again, you can choose new markets, but you have to do a lot more things, and there's a lot more uncertainties that occur when you pick a new market and tend to work. When you keep focus on a market to actually solidify what you've got as you're expanding your offering, which needed to be solidified too, you actually have the opportunity to really capitalize on that, which they did. And you've seen the company grow. It's grown like wildfire over the last several years. I don't remember the exact employee count now, but it's let's say this, it's probably 7 or 8 times what it was just a very short time ago. Now, the other thing with Freshworks, which has been interesting, and this is to the credit of, as much as we joke with them, this is to credit of Alan Berkson, a lot, is the outreach program itself has actually been substantial, but it's been him. And the reason I'm focusing that way, because there's a hint that Freshworks needs to blow that up and expand it a bit. But Alan has managed to stay in touch with key influencers in multiple segments around the globe, and he's getting support from parts of the management team to do that, of course. But the thing is that because he's managed to effectively get across Freshworks' mission and I'm going to get to that as the final piece of this, and vision, and at the same time execution against that mission and vision. He's had a lot of analysts who have his back, right? And that's institutional analysts, that's boutique firms, that's independents like, you know, me and Brent Ginger, those kind of people. But the reason we have his back is because he makes, not only is he just a fundamentally good person, but he makes a cogent point of what the company's mission and vision is, and then executes against it and shows how the company executes against it very well. And that goes to the heart of Freshworks itself, which is their mission. Now, this is interesting. I didn't say mission and vision. I said their mission. And it's a very simple and very clear and very smart mission. And I will read it to you. This was unveiled in 2019. And it's to help businesses create customers for life, period. That's the mission. Now, I want to say two things about this, and then I'll close. First thing is understanding mission and vision statements generally. Mission and vision statements aren't meant to be long explanatory things. They're meant to be short and get across a fundamental point that resonates with the people who hear them. They're meant to be effectively, depending on your generation, poetic or tweetable. That's just generational. It's like my generation, you want them to be poetic. Millennial or Gen Z, you want it to be tweetable, but maybe poetically tweetable or tweetably poetic. But this is what I mean: short, simple, and to the point. And then everything you do, once you make a statement like that, to help businesses create customers for life, is their mission. Not note, which is what most companies do, to say, well, we want to be the blah, blah, blah of blah, blah, blah. It's not what you want for yourself. It's how you want to help change things, right? And that's key to a mission statement. These guys nailed it. And the thing is that if you look through the submission in every facet, when it comes to marketing, outreach, when it comes to product development, when it comes to sales process, when it comes to strategy, overarching corporate strategy, etc., they execute against that specific mission. Now you have to understand something. If you're going to have an impact, not only do you have to execute well, which they prove they do, but you have to be able to execute for the next several years against that mission too, which means the institutional capabilities have to be there. And even though there are some areas where I think that they can expand and grow and evolve, in each area, they showed that they had they had the capability to execute over the next several years. And that, you got to realize, that is a big deal if it's across the board, right? And they were one of two, I'd say, were uniformly solid across the board. The next step, figure out the things you want to stand out in and move forward from there. So with that, hi, Patty.
Thank you. That was really, probably one of the reasons and for why I joined Freshworks. I was inspired by simplicity of that mission statement, right? And the role I've taken is also very similar to that in that sense.
So what is the role? Why don't you fill us in?
So I'm the Chief Customer Officer at Freshworks. And, we serve small and medium businesses, and we have a large group of customers, north of 50,000 customers. And serving customers at scale is tough, right? That problem's not been solved for. The B2B and SaaS industry, the single biggest challenge, post-COVID is really churn. Like, how do you solve for, customers going away? A part of it is the businesses, shutting down, but the other part really is like, how do you build an engaging experience, and how do you use the best of digital tools to not make it non-obtrusive? Because it's easy to just say that, hey, outreach, and find a way to save your customers, but really think about metrics and things, signals and using digital means to really interact with customers. So I'm here. I'm excited to be a part of Freshworks. It's been 4 months. I was the founder and CEO of a company called AnswerIQ, which I started at the wrong age in my life. I ran that for 2.5 years. I raised a round of funding. It was basically to solve customer AI in customer service. And prior to that, I was a CEO of a company, and I've spent over a decade at Microsoft. I was the first instance of Microsoft which was called, back in 2001, I want to say. Yeah, when Microsoft was just prior to the acquisition of Great Plains and other stuff. So I'm very familiar with CRM. I've been a sales leader, marketing leader. I used all tools, right? So I deeply understand the pain associated with the problem statement and how hard it is to really get a single view of customer that everybody's dreaming for, right?
Yeah. It's
about
interesting. Oh, sorry, Brent.
No, go ahead.
It's interesting, your position, because you're the chief customer officer at a place whose mission is, to create and to help customers create a great customer experience. So your customer experience has to be a model customer experience. So the pressure's on.
No pressure. No pressure. Yeah. It is. I agree. And I think that basically it's one of those areas that, I've dived with my hands, put my hands dirty into the problem statement and trying to solve for really redefining and thinking about every touch point that we have with the customer. And how do we really streamline those experiences, reduce the friction in such a way that, it becomes, just like the whole marketing business and sales business has moved to inbound, right? I do think that there's got to be more digital conversations with, conversational channels that becomes less intrusive and easy and engaging for customers to work with you, right? And in today's times.
Talk a little bit about how your interactions with your customers have changed pre-COVID to what's going on now. What are the things that they're struggling with now, and how do you expect that this all plays out? So when we get past COVID, what is customer success in your interactions? What do you hope they're going to be like after we get through all this?
Sure. So, fortunately for us, I think we were in a category of products that were very relevant in the COVID times, in the sense that, help desk systems, essentially were going through the roof in terms of customer service complaints coming in. The second aspect is we also have a IT help desk management and a customer service help desk management. Both of these products were very relevant in these times. The fact that we had conversational experiences through our chat software, basically helped change the game for us. In that sense, customers were fundamentally saying, everything is remote. Everything in the future is going to be remote, right? Everything is virtual. And, how do we end up making sure that we can onboard and train 500 new agents, for example, or 500 new salespeople or 100 new IT help desk people in an environment where everybody is remote, and we have to bring them on, train them, and let them understand how to be effective in their jobs. In a normal job, it takes 2-3 months often to onboard an employee, right? And so just imagine this at scale when you have to do this cross boundaries, cross geographies, in being able to do so. So that's one of the things we're seeing change quite significantly. And so the investments that we have put in our, AI for assisting, agents to get onboarded and trained is critical to how, our products will be successful. Using AI to answer questions, and using more bots, automation and bots is really on top of mind for customers, because one, there are cost pressures. Revenues are down, cost pressures are high, and so the first thing that we're seeing is like, hey, we want to really find a way to automate simple known queries, and that's one thing. That's the first conversation that they're having. Then they say, oh, we did not know you could actually automate decision trees and processes. And so once they are able to see the magic of what AI and automation can do, we're seeing a pretty large footprint of customers basically saying, let that be the first point of interaction, if you will, for our customers. And so we're seeing that narrative really being coming from the customer rather than us going out and telling customers that, hey, you should think about self-service as the first. The best service is no service. Like if customers can solve the problem themselves, that's better than anything else that you can do. And so that's certainly something that we're seeing. In the sales and marketing side, the world has changed upside down. Imagine the whole, inbound is the only way to think about it. Enterprise sales, in my view, is one of the past for the next year or two, because it's not like you're going to meet customers in their offices anymore. They use, so essentially everything from MQL, customer journeys, to how that becomes a sales qualified lead. That has to be a highly integrated and well thought through sequence that, you don't need to think about marketing automation and custom and CRM Salesforce automation separate. And so I think what I'm really super excited about is the fact that, as a company, we are really rethinking that entire business process. And over the next few months, we'll be announcing a product that brings together marketing automation, Salesforce automation, and customer data platform in a way that, if you had a visitor who traversed all the events, activities, journeys, can be seen to a salesperson. A finance person can look at that record and figure out what's the day's outstanding receivables. So seeing that whole picture and starting with a small business is where our journey is. And so, we wish to really make it simple and easy to implement rather than how currently systems are. And I've used all systems, everything from all the best of breed systems. And I know this is a really hard problem to solve for. So sorry for the long-winded answer.
No, that's great.
I've got 3 questions for you.
Sure.
1, do you play an instrument?
Uh-oh.
I don't play an instrument.
Okay.
I'm terrible at music. Yes.
2,
yes.
Does Freshworks have a band?
Freshworks has a band. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
That's very important to this. By
yes.
the way.
Freshworks has a band. They have.
Right. Well, let me tell you. So you're part of this challenge then. So CRM Playaz.
Yeah.
Is issuing a call for a battle of the bands.
Okay.
Pegasus Systems has said they're in.
Okay.
Oracle said they're in, and they were the only 2 we've talked to so far.
Yep.
Freshworks.
No. Jamie said exactly was going to be in.
Oh, and that's right. Jamie is now Chief Sales Officer. Exactly. So exactly's in.
And we think Martin is probably going to represent Sugar, right?
It's got to. We'll just assume Sugar CRM's in. 4, are you guys in?
So we're totally in. And, even if we don't, it doesn't matter where the band's from. There could be a band collection of people from across the world that we'll put together.
We don't care. We don't care.
That's right.
That's up to you.
That's
we're
good.
We're the judges.
Yeah, we're in. We're absolutely in.
We're having a panel of judges. Okay. And it will be broadcast over a few hours one day in the near future.
Alan's already put that in the Slack channel, and I'm pretty sure he's asking a bunch of people, trying to recruit them to participate in this right now.
Yeah,
here's the thing.
Unbeknownst to anybody at Freshworks, you've now announced they have a band
and apparently a dance crew.
But there's a dance crew too. You can have a dance off too.
There's something else that actually Freshworks has, and I know this because of Alan. They have a very active group of DJs, and I think they participate on I don't know if it's your own Twitch channel or not, but I was on there checking it out. Some of the stream for the DJ stuff. They got some talent over there, so they may be able to add a little different dimension, because so far we've seen guitar playing and lead singing, but we haven't seen anybody like get down on the drums or pick up the bass or break dance or scratch it out. So hey, we're all about adding all those elements. If
Battle of the Bands is just a generic term for battle of the music groups doing music in some way. Awesome. And we'll take them all and we'll judge them all too.
And we actually want to see real fisticuffs maybe at some point, maybe smashing of some instruments. We want the battle part.
Yeah.
Jimi Hendrix comes along.
eating some live animals like bats on stage.
No, we don't really need to go to that level. No Ozzy Osbourne stuff or anything like that.
Yeah, that's the genre I grew up listening to.
Automatic disqualification.
Yeah, the first bat that gets eaten, you're out. I'm sorry.
That's right.
All right, wait. I have a rules question, because Direct Marketing Club of New York doesn't have its own band, but one of our board members has a band. So would that count?
No.
Wait a minute. What is this? A vendor? Is this a vendor?
If he has a vendor band, he can.
A data company.
This is tech companies, as you probably noticed. So right, it needs to kind of be a tech company vendor band, and then it's okay.
So many rules. Jeez.
Yeah, so many. One.
Yeah, right. Well, two. No. It has to be a vendor and no bat eating. I mean, it's not really all that
hard. Especially in these times. It's so
that's all we need.
All right. Now I wanted to bring one last person on, because I don't think he's ever been on with us where he actually had help in terms of who he rooted for. So because there is a Mets fan in Ginger already on board, I would like to bring on our buddy, our friend.
You'll be okay, Patty. You'll be fine with it.
Yeah. Mr. Alan Burke.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, God, that's enough of two Mets fans.
Oh, my God. He's sporting the hat.
You're outnumbered, Paul.
Time to end the show. Luckily, it's 4:02, not 4. But 3:58.
All right, man. So how does it feel to finally not be outnumbered and to actually have some friends? Because Patty is a friend. But wait a minute, Patty, are you a Mets fan? We just got to ask that real quick.
So I'm Seahawks fan. So I don't watch baseball because we don't have a great baseball team.
Well,
here,
Patty, it was fun having you here.
I'll tell you what. Basically, there's 3 people on this of the 5 who would not make the sports show. Would not. Although we had Alan on that one Friday. We did have you on that time.
And you're not a Red Sox fan, right, Patty? You're not a Red Sox fan?
No.
Okay, good. See?
No,
we're done here.
Yep.
Look, we've had the Red Sox on the show, so that's
Patriots.
Right.
Patriots. Sorry.
He's a Seahawks fan, so he can't be a.
That's a low blow.
That's right.
Although I have to say, even though I don't like the Seahawks particularly, I do like Russell Wilson because he is the Yankees minor leaguer.
That's right.
That's why
Still?
I like him.
Wow.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
he?
So
Wow.
because every year he goes and practice. Well, not this year, but last year, up through last year, he would literally go to spring training and practice.
Yes.
Right. It was kind of cool too. And they both sides, let's say the actual team guys really liked him, and he loves baseball. And actually is pretty much a star. I mean, he's a really good ball player.
That's right.
At one point weren't they calling him the best quarterback in New York or something like that?
Yeah.
No, that was Charlie Ward.
Charlie Ward. Oh my God.
No, I think they were saying the Yankees had the best quarterback.
No, I know, but when Charlie Ward was the point guard for the Knicks, he was the best quarterback.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I do too. All right, wait, that's tomorrow.
But wait, but I have to do a shout out for the Freshworks dance crew. I was at we had our annual conference in November. I went out to Chennai. It's all about dance and music.
But they can be part of this too. You can have both.
We can really bring it.
We can bring
from that perspective.
We can have Zoho as a dance crew too. I know that.
I will only allow it if Alan is part of the dance crew.
2 rules.
Then we would make you front and center for.
So that's 3 rules: vendor, tech team, no eating bats, and Alan has to be part of the dance team.
Other than that, it's a go.
It's all right.
All right. Wait. Hey, Patty, it's great to meet you, and thanks for being a part of this show and the segment. And Ginger, you'll always be a horseman. and you will never be pestilence because that's already been taken care of.
And we've modernized, and don't forget, it's modernized to digital pestilence.
That's right. He does like the digital part of the pestilence.
Esteban is digital pestilence. That's his.
Does that mean the pestilence is even worse because it's digital?
God knows.
Or I have no idea.
Who knows? It just sounds good.
It does. All right. So on behalf of Patty and Alan and Ginger, I'm Brent Leary.
I'm Paul Greenberg.
We are all CRM players, and at least two of us will see it tomorrow to talk sports on Excuse the Intrusion. Although in the future, we are working on an Excuse the Intrusion versus Pardon My Disruption show at some point.
Yeah. So far, no luck.
We're gonna have to get the doctor to join us.
What is he called? Doctor what now?
Dr. Disruptive. Dr. Disruptive.
Actually, we should talk about our guest tomorrow.
Yes, why don't you talk about it since it is
okay?
Excuse the Intrusion.
So tomorrow on Excuse the Intrusion, we have a unique guest. It was a classmate of mine at Northwestern's Medill School of Journalism. Has turned into literally one of the leading baseball historians.
Wait a minute. Does that mean that there's somebody who actually knew you before Steve LeMay does then?
No. After. Possibly the same day because we were all in the same classes. We were all Medill Journalism School.
That's close enough.
Right. So he is now a leading baseball historian. I think he's written 8, 9, 10 books. He writes heavily for the Society for American Baseball Research, SABR, and Sabermetrics, that whole universe. Has worked for Bill James's group, I think, at one point in his life. I mean, he's basically he's kind of a rock star in the baseball world on the history side. So his name is Don Zminda, Zminda. Really, really lovely person too, and just a wealth of knowledge. Writing a book on the Chicago White Sox 1920 now. And tomorrow we're going to talk about all things baseball, both current state and history, with Don.
That sounds great. Can't wait for that. We're not going to be talking about the 62 Mets or maybe the 62.
No, 62 Mets.
The 69 Mets, they're out. The 86 Mets, no way.
Choo Coleman, live like.
Just ask him to talk about Ralph Kiner.
Yeah, no, we
like Ralph. I do.
I do too. Great broadcaster, man.
All right.
Underrated hitter. I get it. Don't worry. Yeah. I was being delivered there.
All right, folks. So stay tuned for that tomorrow, and we will be back next week with another CRM Players Weekly with a cast of characters, but no bad eating. That's for sure.
That's right.